Chances are the reason why you're watching or listening to this right now is because you want to do something big with your life. You want to make a change, but the reality is when you want to do something different, everything and everybody in your current life isn't going to understand the difference. The reason why I know this is because this is exactly what happened to me every single time I wanted to make a change. When I wanted to go from skinny fat to ripped, when I wanted to start making content, when I wanted to grow on social media, and I went from being made fun of to getting hundreds of thousands of followers across Instagram, TikTok, and other social media platforms. And I understand that these are the mindsets that you need to have if you want to take it to the next level. These are the mindsets that completely changed my life and served me and ultimately transformed me from the inside out. Because if you want to change your physical world, you need to change your internal world. And it starts with your mind and it starts with your soul. I'm gonna go over 5 ways of life if you want to achieve something big with yours. The reason why I want to make this video is that the average person is average. And therefore, when you want to do something that is above average, you're not gonna get much support from other people. So I wanna be your support guy. I wanna be the guy that pushes you to your next level and lets you know that whatever you want to achieve, no matter how big or small it is, these are the mindsets that you need to have. Number 1 is main character energy. Your life will never be worse living it with main character energy. I personally believe in God, and nothing would be possible without God. And He didn't create us to just be a bystander in a movie. He created us to live out our purpose, to live out our passion, to live out our calling. And every single thing that happens to you in your life, you can either let it work against you or let it work for you. And when you view yourself as a main character, like in a movie, no matter what happens to that main character, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether they lost a loved one, whether they got let go of their job, whether they got made fun of, whether they were judged, they use that pain as fuel. And when you become a main character type of energy, guess what happens? You turn your pain into your passion and your passion into your purpose. That's why I decided to become a fitness coach. That's where Super Koopa came for. It came from when I was 12 years old and I was lost and I didn't know who I was. So I created an alter ego called Super Koopa, where I literally view myself as the superhero of my own life. And what superheroes do is whenever something bad happens, they're the one to save the day. And this made me realize that nobody was coming to save me. Nobody was gonna get me in better shape. Nobody was gonna get me to do the work even when I didn't feel like doing it. And nobody was going to make my dreams come true for me. I have to be the superhero. No superhero is gonna come and save me. And this is my alter ego. This is the version of me that I wanna become. And a lot of people view being main character energy or creating an alter ego for yourself as being fake. It's not being fake. It's creating the version of you that you want to become, the ideal version of you. And the thing is once you create the ideal version of you and you start acting in alignments with that version of you, well, then you actually become that version. And then you're not faking it anymore. So for the first few years where I was just getting started off in the gym and I was trying to figure it out with business, when I was trying to figure out who I was, yes, I was faking it, but I was really just figuring myself out. And now I've actually become Super Koopa. So number 1, walk around with main character energy and realize that nobody is coming to save you. Nobody's gonna make your dreams come true for you. Nobody's gonna go for the run for you or eat healthy for you or put in the work for you or go and talk to that person for you. Nobody's gonna do it. It's you. And at the end of your life, view it as if you're gonna be sitting down watching this movie called Your Life with every single person you love. Is it gonna be a movie that inspires them or is it gonna be a movie that disturbs them? And most importantly, what are you gonna think of the movie? And every single day I live this way with main character energy. I can't have a bad day. I only have good days. I only find solutions rather than focusing on problems. I only focus on growth rather than focusing on stagnation. Because imagine watching a movie where the same thing happens every single day like Groundhog Day. It would get boring after a few minutes. I don't wanna live a boring life. I wanna live a thriving life, and I know you wanna do the same. So I suggest that you create an alter ego for yourself and you start to live as that version of you today. And eventually time will collapse and you will become that ideal version of you. This brings me into number 2, which is dealing with hate. In this world, confidence makes insecure people angry. In this world, success makes people that are failing angry. In this world, hate will only come from people that look at you and you remind them of all of their failures. And this mindset helped me push through all the hate I dealt with. I deal with hate every single day, posting on social media, growing my account from 0 followers to 250,000 followers. But here's how I like to deal with hate. I understand that hate, analytically, I need to number one ask, is it true? And if the answer is no, then it doesn't bother me, right? If somebody said, hey, your hair is pink, it looks weird, I'm not gonna be offended by that because obviously my hair isn't pink. So you need to ask yourself the question, is it true? Because when I was growing up, I was called skinny and it hurt. And yes, it was hate, but it was also true. I was skinny fat. So what I did was I viewed myself as main character energy and I started to make the right changes. So number one with hate, you gotta ask yourself, is it hate or is it true? Because if it's true, maybe you are fat. Maybe you are insecure. Maybe you aren't living the life you're supposed to live. Maybe you're not following through on the promises that you said you're gonna do. Maybe you're not integral. Well, don't view it as hate. Drop the ego and first say, okay, maybe that's true. I'm gonna make sure it doesn't stay true. That's number one, how I deal with hate. Number two, if it's not true, I don't let it affect me. And I know it can sting for a little bit, but I realize that hate is just when somebody says, hey, the life you're living, I prefer not to live. I disagree with you. I think it's this way. And the reality is of course you're gonna disagree with me. I wanna be above average, therefore there's gonna be a lot of people that are average or below average that won't understand why I go to the gym at 1 o'clock in the morning, won't understand why I didn't party on the weekends, won't understand why I eat meal prep, won't understand why I think the way I think and do the things I do. So when you're leveling yourself up and you're going against the grain, look for the hate. Because if you're getting hated on, that means you're on the right path. That means you're doing something that a lot of people don't have the courage to do. So keep freaking doing it. That should be actually a direct indication that you're doing the right things. So when I hear hate, I ask myself, is it true? And if it's not true, then it's just because they don't want to live a life that I'm living. And that's totally fine. My life isn't for everybody. As long as I'm happy with my life, then I'm good. When it comes to dealing with hate truly can't get to you if you don't have hate within yourself. The enemy outside can do you no harm if the enemy inside doesn't exist. So I'm not an enemy of myself. Hate used to bother me, but once I became integral with myself, started living my life how I wanted to live it, started to actually do the things that I said I was going to do, no hate can touch me because I love myself so much that love will outblind hate. Just like the sun will burn off any dark cloud. The sun is more powerful than any dark cloud. So just because you have a hater, just because there's a dark cloud in front of you, doesn't mean you stop shining. That means you shine even brighter to burn them away. Number three, habits come from your habitat. Listen, if you take a fish out of water, what happens? The fish dies. Therefore, if you want to become the best version of you, you want to get to the next level, you want to make some changes in your life, you will not make the changes, you will not lose the weight, you will not get in shape still hanging out with out of shape people. You won't adopt a positive mindset still hanging out with negative mindset people. You won't be able to eat healthy when you open up your fridge and there's a bunch of cheesecake or chips in the pantry. Your habits come from your habitat. In order to get to the next level version of you, the old version of you needs to die. So take the fish out of water and let it evolve. And that's what you need to do with your life. You need to put yourself in a habitat that causes you to thrive, not just get by. You see, habitats either cause you to die, to just survive and get by, or thrive. And the good news is you have free will and you have 2 of your own feet and you can decide what habitat you put yourself in. You can decide to move across the country like I did from Connecticut to Florida this year. Across the country, don't know anybody here, but I'm evolving. I'm in control of my environment. There's no negativity here. There's no snacks here. There's no low-level energy here. You're the one in full control. You don't think you can move? You don't think you can make new friends? You don't think that you can listen to a new idea or a new mindset? Well, then you don't have any power, do you? But the second you realize that you're the one in control of your environment, that gives you the power. It's a lot easier to stay consistent with the diet when there's not chips looking at you every single day. So when I first started my fitness journey, I had to only surround myself with people that were also on their fitness journey. And if I couldn't find people, I would find them online. Maybe that's why you're listening or watching to this right now. Imagine this. Imagine you were on a deserted island with 4 other people, and all those 4 other people, they were laser focused on their goals. They barely rested. They didn't watch TV all day long. They were focused. They only ate high protein foods. They went for runs every single day. They worked on their physical health. They were mentally sharp and positive individuals. How do you think you would adapt? Would you continue to still watch TV around those people? Would you continue to still eat the ho-hos and donuts around those people? Would you continue to say you're just too tired to work out today? Or would you figure out a way? You would adapt, because you know in that situation, you either survive, you die, or you thrive. Put yourself in an environment that causes you to thrive. Number 4, during the journey to becoming the best version of you, of self-development, it's gonna be lonely sometimes. People are gonna disagree with you sometimes. Like I said, there's gonna be haters, but here's the reality. You're gonna experience feelings, and understand that feelings don't dictate who you are. It's something you feel. You're not depressed. You're not anxious. You're feeling depressed. You're feeling anxious. You're feeling lonely. You're feeling sad. But here's the reality. One thing that I learned, because I have experienced feelings of depression before. I have experienced feelings of anxiety before. I've bit off all the fingernails on both of my hands because I was that anxious before. There were days that I didn't even want to get up out of bed, and I would snooze my alarm in the morning like 7 times for over an hour long, because I didn't have anything to look forward to. Here's how I combated it. Feelings of being depressed truly comes from lack of options, because feeling depressed is almost the equivalent of being hopeless. And if you have lack of options, you're gonna feel hopeless. And feelings of anxiety is when you have too many options to deal with. And then it becomes overwhelming and paralyzes you and causes inaction. So I want you to think about it this way, right? When you go into a restaurant, if there's only one item on that menu, and it's an item that you hate, let's say it's anchovies, all right? Nobody likes anchovies. Actually, I've never had them before, but they just gross me out. Let's say it's just anchovies, you're gonna feel kind of hopeless. You're gonna be like, this is all I have to eat? There's nothing here. But then you go to a restaurant and there's 100 different menu items, like Cheesecake Factory. It's overwhelming. You have too many choices to pick from. It makes your decision-making process take a heck of a lot longer. So whenever you want to do something big with your life, or you want to make a change, don't let the feelings of anxiety cause you to overanalyze and procrastinate and not take action. And don't let the feelings of feeling depressed halfway through when you're this close to striking gold stop you from showing up. Keep your eyes focused on your vision, on the possibilities of what you could achieve, not on what you're losing, not on what you're sacrificing, but what you're gaining. When I was on my fitness journey, I didn't miss the parties. I didn't miss drinking the alcohol. I didn't miss hanging out with my friends at midnight. Because why? Every single rep in the gym, I was focused on becoming better. When I posted content every single day for 3 years straight and had to post over 2,000 pieces of content before I got my first 1 million view video on Instagram, I kept showing up whether I saw results or not, because I kept focusing on what I could gain from it, not from what I was losing by spending hours creating content. So the way to combat these feelings when you're on your path of self-development is don't give yourself any other option other than becoming the best version of you. Because if your only option is to become the best version of you, there is no taking the day off, it's only showing up and becoming better. There is no eating the donut or the cookie. You have your meal prep already prepared for you. There is no what am I gonna do in the gym today. You know exactly what you're training in the gym, exactly how many reps you're gonna do, how many sets you're gonna do. There is no, what am I gonna do to start my business? What am I gonna do? How do you podcast? Just start. It's a lot easier to steer a car when you're driving, moving forward, than parked on the side of the road. Do not let these feelings, like I discussed before, while you're on your journey, paralyze you in inaction. Stop letting procrastination ruin your life and start taking massive action today. The path will reveal itself to you. When you're driving on the highway, you can only see a mile down the road. But once you get to that mile down the road, the next mile reveals itself to you. So when you're starting your fitness journey, you don't need to have it all figured out. When you're starting anything big with your life, you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start moving. It's the only way to see the rest of the path. When you're parked on the side of the road, you can steer all you want, but you're going nowhere. So massive action always will outweigh feelings of anxiety and feelings of depression. Speaking of massive action, success likes speed. I've never met anybody successful that spent their whole life just thinking and not doing. This world belongs to people that move fast. We all have this vision in our head for who we want to become, and every single day we aren't doing the actions that are in alignment with that version of us, we will feel like our potential is eating away at us. Even this YouTube video right now, I kept putting it off, and every single day I woke up, I felt like a lesser version of myself. And I said, you know what? It's 8 p.m. at night right now. I have dinner reservation after this, and I'm just gonna record it right now. And in fact, the mic just got botched, but you know what? It doesn't matter. What matters is I'm gonna do this so that I can go to bed tonight with confidence in myself that I do what I say I'm going to do. And every single day you procrastinate and you don't move fast, you are slowly falling away from the version of you that you want to be. And that's a very scary feeling to feel. And that's how I felt the majority of my life until I took my life into my own hands and decided to make a change. I want you to think about it this way. There's two car companies. There was Ford starting out and another car company. And this one car company said, we're gonna make the perfect car. We're only gonna focus our energy on making one car perfectly. While Ford said, we're gonna put out a bunch of cars and see what happens. And guess who created the best car at the end of the day? It was Ford, because they had reps. They learned from their mistakes. They learned from their failures. They kept showing up. They kept seeing what was working and what didn't work, and they ended up creating the best product. While this other car company, they didn't make the best product. And you may be wondering, what is this other car company? Well, we don't know the name, because they never ended up coming out with a car. They spent years trying to make the perfect one that they never actually took action. So when you're watching this video, don't be like the other car company where nobody remembers your name, where you don't leave a mark, where you don't become the best version of you, where everybody else around you is getting better and better and you're not. You're watching this because you want to become the best version of you, and that only happens when you start taking action. I hope this video cleared up your mindset about the path to leveling yourself up, the path of self-improvement. You're gonna experience all of these things, but one thing's for sure, if you take action today and you focus on getting 1% better every single day, you're gonna be a lot better in a year from now than you are today.